The U.S. and Afghan governments condemning the Taliban's launch of a new spring offensive in Afghanistan as peace talks are still being pursued with militants there. It's a country that has seen 18 years of war with thousands of U.S. soldiers dead. Let's bring in Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired General Jack Keane. General, what's your take on this? It's still going on. Your take?
Well, first of all, the Taliban have launched their 2019 offensive. Supposedly, within 2 weeks, they're going to peace talks in Qatar. How serious are they if they've launched a spring offensive that's resulted in hundreds killed on both sides? I'm highly suspicious of the legitimacy of their desire for peace talks. What I've always believed from the outset, there's only one thing the Taliban wants, and that is to regain control of Afghanistan once again, as they had through most of the 90s up until 2001.
Well, General, is that happening? I mean, because we have the former United States, let's move it up, ambassador to Pakistan, Richard Olson, saying, don't leave Afghanistan without a deal built on national unification. The question is that doable, and is Taliban now resurgent? Is it on the rise?
Well, the Taliban, over the last number of years, after we pulled most of our combat forces out, Liz, have been able to retake some lost territory where they're either contesting or control up to about half of the country. So that's number one. Number two is we got to be highly skeptical of the Taliban's motivations, because they refuse to talk to the government of Afghanistan, was duly elected by its people. I can understand their concerns about the government, but nonetheless, they are a legitimate government body. And how do we get peace negotiations at all if they're not willing to talk to the government and obviously about sharing power?
Okay.
So we got to be skeptical of them.
How different is it on the ground 18 years later in Afghanistan society?
Well, there's been considerable improvement in it, through the years. The education system is much better. Rights for women have improved considerably. And one thing that has been consistent for 18 years, 85% of the population in Afghanistan disapproves of the Taliban ever coming back into power, because they experienced their rule, which was tyrannical, fanatical, and barbaric, and they want no part of them. There is a possibility that we can move in the right direction, but for that to happen, the Taliban are going to have to talk to the government. The government will have to include the other parties in Afghanistan, which is what the former ambassador is talking about. And believe me, we can never trust the Taliban when they tell us, Liz, all the U.S. troops can pull out, to include your counterterrorism force, and don't worry about the al-Qaeda or ISIS having a safe haven in Afghanistan, because we'll guarantee that that will never happen. That is fool's gold, and we cannot buy that lie.
Yeah, it's headlines we don't hear a lot about from Afghanistan, and you just brought them, General. Thank you so much for your insights and perspective. Interesting.